So my dear children, in the earlier chapter we discussed several MCQ questions and the questions given in your textbook. So within this chapter we'll be discussing several questions, essay type questions and other question types. Okay. So first of all, we'll observe how to write correct answers for the questions which are given in the slides over here. So here you need to write down the correct answers. Number 1. What are the main 4 chambers in the heart? So you have to name the 4 chambers within the heart in the first question. So the main 4 chambers in the heart are left and right ventricles, okay, and left and right auricles. So we can write down the answer. It's quite simple. Number 1, left auricle. Number 2, right auricle. Number 3, left ventricle. Right, number 3, left ventricle. Number 4, right ventricle. So left auricle, right auricle, left ventricle, right ventricle. These are the 4 main parts that we can observe within the heart. Divide the main 4 chambers in the heart according to oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay. So you know that if you take the right, my dear children, right auricle and the right ventricle, right auricle and right ventricle, both of these chambers contain deoxygenated blood. What is the reason? It's because, my dear children, the vena cava is going to distribute blood to the chambers or to the right auricle. Those ones are deoxygenated. Then those things are getting transferred to the right ventricle. So right auricle and right ventricle contains deoxygenated blood, right? So deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. Right auricle, right ventricle. Then, my dear children, at the left hand side, left auricle and left ventricle. You can observe at the left auricle and left ventricle, you can observe oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood. So right auricle, right ventricle, you can observe deoxygenated blood. Left auricle and left ventricle, you can observe oxygenated blood. Okay. So this is to divide these 4 chambers according to the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood. Okay. Right. The next question. What are the 2 main valves between atria and ventricles? So the 2 main valves between atria and ventricles. Between right atrium and the right ventricle, between the right hand side, right atrium and the right ventricle, you can observe the tricuspid valve. Right tricuspid, left bicuspid. Between left auricle and left ventricle, we can observe, right? Between left auricle and left ventricle, we can observe the bicuspid valve. Left bicuspid, right tricuspid. So we can write left auricle, left ventricle. Right? Bicuspid valve. Bicuspid valves. Then right ventricle and right auricle. Right auricle and right ventricle, right? Between these two, you can observe tricuspid valve. So bicuspid valve and tricuspid valve. Okay. So bicuspid valve can be observed. Bicuspid valve can be observed. So it should be valve. Bicuspid valve can be observed between left auricle and left ventricle. Between right auricle and right ventricle, you can observe the tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. Name the main veins in the body. The main veins in the body. Main veins, actually there are vena cava, right? The main veins, vena cava. There are the main veins, right? There are two main vena cavas, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. And also there is another type of a vein which is called as the pulmonary vein. Okay, pulmonary vein. So those are the main types of veins that we can observe. Okay, so we can write the answer. Superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, then pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins. So these are the main veins that can be observed within the body. The main veins, right? These two veins, they carry blood towards the heart from body organs. This vein carries blood towards the heart from the lungs. Okay. So superior vena cava, inferior vena cava and pulmonary veins are the main veins that can be observed within the body. Right then, what are the two main arteries connected to the ventricles? The two main arteries connected to the ventricles. So we know that for our left ventricle, aorta is connected. For the right ventricle, pulmonary artery is connected. Okay. So for the right ventricle, pulmonary artery. For the left ventricle, aorta. So we'll write down our answer. Left ventricle, aorta, aorta. Then for the right ventricle, pulmonary artery. For the left ventricle, aorta is connected, and for the right ventricle, pulmonary artery is connected. Okay, so these are the two arteries that we can observe which are connected with the ventricles. Next one, why do veins have valves? Why do veins have valves? Because it stops the blood which is flowing backwards, or it's going to help blood to not to go back, or not to overflow, but to, like if it is going backwards, the backflow of the blood is getting avoided by the valves contained within the veins, right? It's always directing towards the heart. Blood is always directing towards the heart. The backflow of the blood is getting avoided by the valves, right? Always the valves open towards the heart. Okay. So my dear children, the valves contained within the veins, it stops the backflow of the blood. Okay, it stops the backflow of the blood. So we can write the answer. It stops the backflow it stops the backflow of blood, right? It stops the backflow of blood. Right then. Question number 7. Name the main blood vessels that carry blood into the heart. Name the main blood vessels that carry blood into the heart, blood out of the heart. So if the blood is getting carried into the heart, then these things are called as veins. If the blood is carried out of the heart, then those things are called as arteries, right? Arteries. So blood vessels which takes blood into the heart are called as veins. Blood vessels which takes blood out of the heart is called as arteries. Arteries and veins are the answers, my dear children. Right. What is called blood transfusion? What is called blood transfusion? Transfusion of blood. Blood transfusion means transfer in blood from one person to another person. Transferring of blood from one person to another person is referred as blood transfusion. So we can write the answer. Transfer of blood, right? Transfer of blood from one person to another person. Transfer of blood from one person to another person. is called blood transfusion, right? So transfer of blood from one person to another person is called blood transfusion. So transfusion means transferring blood from one person to another person. What is called blood agglutination? Agglutination means clumping of blood, right? Clumping of blood when blood is transferred from one person to another, okay, due to incompatibility of blood, okay. So due to incompatibility of the blood is getting clumped within the recipient upon transfusion process. So this is referred as blood agglutination. So we can write the answer: clumping of blood in the clumping of blood in the recipient after transfusion is called agglutination, right? So this is the answer for the 9th question, my dear children. So clumping of blood in the recipient after transfusion is called agglutination, right, my dear children? So once again, clumping of blood in the recipient. So here recipient, so clumping of blood in the recipient after transfusion is called agglutination. So after the transfusion process, right, the recipient's blood is going to clump or clot. Clotting is not more probable, so that's why I have used the term clumping. So clumping of blood in the recipient after transfusion is called the agglutination, right? Then the next question: what are the main groups of blood with rhesus factor? Now with rhesus factor you need to divide the main groups of blood, okay? You know that rhesus, so there are some groups which rhesus positive, there are some groups which rhesus negative. So according to that we can divide each blood group into two different parts, rhesus positive and rhesus negative, okay? So that means, my dear children, there are 8 blood groups in total: A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, then finally O positive, and here finally O negative. So there are 8 blood groups, my dear children. The 8 blood groups are: number 1, A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, O negative. So these are the 8 groups of blood according to the rhesus factor and according to the main 4 groups of blood. Rhesus factor divides the blood group into 2 main parts. One that has the rhesus protein, one that can produce the rhesus protein is in the rhesus positive category. If they can't produce the rhesus protein, they are in the rhesus negative category. So according to that, there are 8 groups like this. A positive means Rh positive and A is the group. A negative means Rh negative, A is the group. B positive, Rh positive and B is the group. B negative, Rh negative, B is the group. In the same way, AB plus, AB minus, O plus, O minus. So like that way, there are 8 groups with the rhesus factor and with the 4 groups of blood. Right then. Write 5 good habits that can be followed to maintain a healthy circulatory system. To maintain a healthy circulatory system, what are the 5 good habits that can be followed? So in the earlier question also, in the earlier chapter also, we come across like this kind of a question, right, at the end of our exercises with regard to the textbook. So we'll write down once again what are the good habits that we can follow in order to have a good and a healthy circulatory system. First and foremost thing is we need to have a balanced diet, right? We need to have a balanced diet with a good nutritional value. So it's important to have a balanced diet to get good nutrition. So getting a balanced diet. Getting a balanced diet. Right? Then number 2, doing physical exercises. Right? Doing physical exercises. It's important to do physical exercises to have a good healthy body, right? Number 3, less consumption of salt, fatty foods. So less consumption of salty and fatty foods. Salty foods increase the blood pressure. Fatty foods increases the tendency of having heart attacks. So it's important to reduce the consumption of, or we have to consume less amount of salty and fatty foods. Okay. Number 4, having a stress-free mind. Having a stress-free mind is also contributes to, right, good healthy circulatory system. Then my dear children, number 5, quit from alcohol, smoking. Right? So, getting a balanced diet, doing physical exercises, less consumption of salty and fatty foods, having a stress-free mind, and quitting from alcohol and smoking is going to maintain a very healthy circulatory system with a good and healthy heart, my dear children. Right then. Question number 12. Write 5 materials transported by blood plasma. Pretty much easier question. You know that each and every particle that transported within the blood is going to transfer with the help of plasma. So we can write anything, any particle like water, right? Hormones, gases, then glucose, the medicine that you are going to drink, right? Medicine that you are going to drink, then enzymes, right? Excretory materials, right? Then nutrients, and so on. There are plenty to write. There are plenty to write. So I have written like 8. You're asking about only 5. So my dear children, these are the substances that is getting transported by the plasma. Okay. So each and every particle contained, each and every particle which is going to transfer is going to transfer through the blood plasma. Right. Okay then. So let's head on to see the next question. So in the next question, you need to answer the questions using the figures. So there is a diagram given in here. You can see the diagram very clearly. So within this diagram, my dear children, you can see that there are vessels named as 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are chambers in the diagram which is named as A, B, C and D. Right. So first of all, name the given vessels 1, 2, 3 and 4. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, we have to name the vessels. So this is given as a black and white figure. And the specialty is that here, if you check this figure very clearly, right, I told you how to identify that, like right hand and the left hand side of a heart. We compare the thickness. By comparing the thickness, we can identify the right and left hand sides of the heart. Okay. So my dear children, if you check this thing very clearly, right? If you check this thing very clearly, here the transfusion can be, or the transportation can be clearly identified. So, first of all, this chamber is coming towards the heart and pumping blood towards the organs. Okay. So, my dear children, in here, it's coming like this and going like that. Right? So here, my dear children, the question is being asked. Now, In here you can observe part C and part D. And it is also referring the systemic circuit. Systemic circuit means circulation of blood between the body organs and the heart. Systemic circulation. So here blood comes towards the lungs, to the C, then to the D, then from D to the from D to the body parts. So here number 2 definitely should be the aorta. Aorta. Then number 1, if you take number 1, this is the vena cava. Number 1 is the vena cava. Pumping blood to the lungs, my dear children, by number 4. So number 4 should be definitely pulmonary artery. Then number 3 brings blood towards the heart from lungs, pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. So these are the four main vessels that we can identify within the figure, right? 4 main vessels. Right then. Name the given chambers. So you have to name the chambers given A, B, C, D. So we have to first of all identify the left and right. So we'll compare which one contains the aorta. Aorta is connected with the left hand side, which is D in here. So this is the aorta which comes to D. So D is the left ventricle. D, left ventricle. Left ventricle is D. Left ventricle. Right? Then C, that is the right auricle. Sorry, left auricle. Left ventricle, left auricle. Then A, right auricle. Then B, right ventricle. Right ventricle. Right. Then we'll move on to the next question, my dear children. Number 3, what is called pulmonary circulation? So pulmonary circulation means that's the circulation that occur between the heart and the lungs. So circulation of blood between lungs and heart. Okay, so circulation of blood between lungs and heart is called pulmonary circulation. Then systemic circulation means circulation of blood between heart and the body organs. Circulation of blood between heart and body organs. Right? So systemic circulation means circulation of blood between heart and body organs. Pulmonary circulation means circulation of blood between lungs and the heart. Okay, so this is what do you mean by systemic circulation and the pulmonary circulation. Name ABCD chambers. So second question related to the questions under question number 3, third main question. Okay, so here now it's given with a certain kind of a diagram, right? So here several arteries and veins are given: subclavian vein, subclavian artery, head and neck. Then say there are several letters: intestine, liver, kidney, legs, inferior vena cava. So actually these things are irrelevant for us. Okay, these things are given to confuse you guys, so don't get confused. Just look at the figure, identify the key components and go for the questions. Okay, so we'll see the questions and then after we'll answer. Okay, name ABCD chambers. Now first of all you have to name the ABCD chambers. My dear children, here you can observe the inferior vena cava. This is inferior vena cava. J is inferior vena cava. Here you can see it very clearly. The inferior vena cava. If this is inferior vena cava, if this is referring to a vena cava, then definitely blood is coming towards this side. It's coming towards the heart like this. So it is correct, right? Inferior vena cava. See, inferior, if you check, if you get the inferior vena cava transport blood towards the heart from the organs which is located below the heart level. Kidney, legs, intestine, liver, all of these organs located below the heart level. So all the blood which is coming from each of these organs are going to carry blood by inferior vena cava towards the heart. So if this path or if this is the distribution of blood towards the heart, then this is the other side should be the distribution of blood away from the heart. Right? Like this. Okay. So my dear children, now we can identify the left and right sides of our heart. So this should be the left hand side. This one should be the right hand side. So F, this letter F is going to represent, see, F is directly connected with the D chamber, so that F is the one which is referred as the aorta. That valve is the aorta. F is the aorta. So my dear children, we can say that F is the aorta, D is the left ventricle. So we can write the answer, left ventricle is D. Left ventricle. Then if D is left ventricle, D to above D, you can observe the left auricle. So B is left auricle. C is right ventricle. Then finally, A is right auricle, which connects with the inferior vena cava and superior vena cava coming on here. Right auricle. So A right auricle, C right ventricle, B left auricle, D left ventricle. So we have identified the chambers. Name the vessels given by G, E and F. We identified F, that is the aorta. F is the aorta. Then E is over here. E is over here. Here, this one is E, which brings blood towards the lungs. So E is connected with C, which is the right ventricle. So E is pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery is the one which brings blood towards the lungs from the heart. Then G. So G is going to, right? G is going to bring oxygenated blood towards the heart. It's going to bring oxygenated blood towards the heart. Then that oxygenated blood is distributed through F to all around the body parts. So this is pulmonary veins. Pulmonary vein. So G is pulmonary vein, which going to bring oxygenated blood towards the heart. Then it is going to the D. D is connected with F, which is the aorta, which distribute blood all around the body parts. So G is pulmonary vein, E is pulmonary artery, F is the aorta. F is the aorta. Name a difference in blood between E and G vessels. This is E, this is G. E is a, right, see E is the pulmonary artery. E is the pulmonary artery. G is the pulmonary vein. So in E we can observe deoxygenated blood, but however in G we can observe oxygenated blood. So we can write down our answer. E contains deoxygenated blood. In E you can observe deoxygenated blood, but in G you can observe oxygenated blood. As it is the pulmonary vein, it contains oxygenated blood. Above one is the pulmonary artery, so it contains deoxygenated blood. Okay, that's the difference between E and G vessels, right? Next one, name the vessel N. This is N vessel. From head, neck and arms, blood is coming towards the A, which is the right auricle. So N definitely should be the superior vena cava, my dear children. It should be definitely the superior vena cava. You know that this side is going to bring blood towards the heart. So blood is coming from here, and N is transporting that blood to A, which is the right auricle. So N definitely should be the superior vena cava. What is the function of N? So the function of N is bringing or transporting blood to the heart from upper parts of the body. Transporting blood from upper parts of the body, right? So transporting blood from upper parts of the body is carried out by N, which is the superior vena cava. Okay, right, my dear children. Right, so the third question related to the figures. Here a diagram is given and you have to label the parts given in the diagram. So as usual, we'll name the parts within the figure. So first of all, this main artery which divides into several segments, this is the aorta. Aorta. So this one is called as the pulmonary artery, which divides into two to travel to left and right lungs. Pulmonary artery. This one, this chamber, this refers to the chamber. So this chamber, you know that this is the opening of aorta. This is the opening of aorta. You can clearly observe this one is the opening of aorta. So aorta is connected with this chamber, this chamber. This chamber then definitely should be the left ventricle. So if that is the left ventricle, then the top chamber should be the left auricle. Right? Below chambers are ventricles, above chambers are auricles. So this is left ventricle, the above chamber is left auricle. So this chamber is the right ventricle. Right ventricle. This is the inferior vena cava then. It is connected with the right atrium. So this is the right atrium. This is the superior vena cava then. And this is the inferior vena cava. Right? Inferior vena cava, this one. This is the superior vena cava. It opens to the right auricle, and this is the right ventricle which opens to the pulmonary artery. This is the aorta which opens to the left ventricle. Pulmonary veins, you can observe here, these are the pulmonary veins, but however those things are not being marked. Pulmonary veins opens to the left auricle. So this is the labeled figure of the diagram, right? So you are being asked to mark only the given ones which are used, which been used by the arrowheads, right? So I have named all the things which are including arrowheads, my dear children. Right then. So let's go for the next question. Complete the table using correct answers. So you have to complete the table using the correct answers, right? So you have to write down the correct answer in here. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the heart from lower parts of the body. Transporting deoxygenated blood. If it is transporting deoxygenated blood, then it should be a vein. from lower parts of the body, lower parts of the body. Now, from the lower parts of the body, right, from the lower parts of the body, blood should transfer. Once again, we'll read it out. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the heart from lower parts of the body. If the blood is coming from lower parts of the body towards the heart, then this is referring to inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava is the one which is transporting blood to the heart from, like later part or the lower part of the body. Inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Lungs and heart, it should be pulmonary for sure. So we'll mention pulmonary first, because it is referring about lungs and this is referring about lungs and heart. Okay, it's referring about lungs. Lungs means definitely it should be a pulmonary circulation one. So transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So this deoxygenated blood is going to the lungs. From where? Definitely from heart, right? No need to mention that. Definitely blood is transported to the lungs through heart. We already know, there is no trouble in identifying that thing. So transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs from heart. So taking blood away from the heart, that's going to occur from arteries. So transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs, that's going to happen definitely from pulmonary artery. Pulmonary means the circulation between lungs and heart. Artery means taking blood away from the heart. So taking blood away from the heart to the lungs, pulmonary artery is the answer. Pulmonary artery. Transporting oxygenated blood to the heart from lungs. Now transporting oxygenated blood to the heart once again from lungs. Now heart and lungs, once again it is referring to pulmonary. How can you say that? Because if the circulation refers to lungs and heart, definitely that circulation should be pulmonary. That's a pulmonary circulation. So get the vein and artery then. Vein means taking blood towards organs. Artery means taking blood towards the heart. So this is saying that transporting oxygenated blood to the heart from lungs. To the heart means taking towards the heart. So towards the heart, blood is transported by veins. So this is pulmonary vein. In the earlier case, transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Lungs means a different organ. So from heart to lungs. Taking away, distributing away from the heart. Here, to the heart from lungs. So from lungs, blood is coming. So it should be a vein. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the heart from upper parts of the body. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the heart, once again it should be a vein, as it is coming from the upper part of the body. This is called as specially the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. transporting blood to the body organs by heart. Transporting blood to the body organs by heart. So, to the body organs, blood is transported through aorta, right? Aorta. Transporting blood to the body organs by heart is done by aorta. Final one, transporting blood within body organs. Within body organs. So within body organs, blood is transported by capillaries. 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 Right then. A good question, my dear children. So once again, transporting deoxygenated blood to the heart from lower parts of the body, inferior vena cava. Transporting deoxygenated blood to the lungs, pulmonary artery. Transporting oxygenated blood to the heart from lungs, pulmonary vein. Transporting oxygenated blood to the heart from upper parts of the body, superior vena cava. Transporting blood to the body organs by heart through aorta. Transporting blood within the body organs through capillaries. Special vessels contained within our circulatory system. Right then. Complete the table according to the compatibility of blood group. Once again, a good question about the compatibility. So we'll complete this table. Right? This is regarding the donor. This is regarding the recipient. So my dear children, here all the 8 groups are available now. All the 8 groups, positive and negative. Let us remember, or let us once again memorize what are the factors which are essential in transfusion of blood. Rhesus plus can get blood from any person, plus or minus. Rhesus minus can give blood to any person, Rhesus minus or Rhesus, right, plus. Rhesus minus can get blood from only from Rhesus minus. Okay. Then A can get from A and O. B can get from B and O. AB can get from any. O can get from O only. Okay. By considering those things, we'll complete the table. When completing the table, don't look at both the sides. Either you observe the recipient one or else the donor. Then the others will then the other things will definitely fill out. So in here, what I am going to do is, I am going to check the recipient or else the donor. Right? I'm going to check only with the one side. Then I'm going to fill out what's going to happen. Right? So the recipient is A. Now A is going to receive, A plus is going to receive blood. A plus can receive blood from A plus. Okay. A plus can receive blood from A minus. No problem. A plus can receive blood from O plus and O minus also. For others, he can't get blood. So we'll put a cross. Then A minus can get blood from A minus. A minus can get blood from, this is the recipient, A minus. So A minus can get blood from A minus. A minus can also get blood from O minus. But however, from positives, can't. I told you that Rhesus negative can receive only from Rhesus negative. Okay. Then For others, let us put the crosses once again. Then the third recipient is B plus. B plus can get blood from B plus and from B minus, and B plus can get blood from O plus and O minus. Okay, we'll complete the table for the ticks first and we'll then do the crosses. Then the B minus, recipient B minus. B minus can receive from B minus and from O minus. Okay, from B minus and O minus, B minus can receive blood. Then the AB plus. AB plus can receive from AB plus, from A minus, from A plus, from A minus, from B plus, from B minus, from AB plus, from AB minus, from O plus, from O minus. That means you can see all the ticks are being now fulfilled. AB plus can receive blood from any of these groups. AB plus can receive blood from any of these groups. Right? Then the next one, AB minus. Minus can receive only from minus, guys. So minus, minus, minus and minus. AB minus can receive from only from minus people. Okay, not from the pluses. From minuses they can take, but they can donate to anyone for plus or minus, whatever. But I'm only considering about the recipient. Then the recipient is O plus. O plus can receive blood from O plus and O minus. O plus can receive blood from O plus and O minus. That's it. O minus can receive blood only from O minus. Only from O minus. So O minus blood group is very rare, my dear children. And it is very valuable also. Why it is very valuable, O minus? Because O minus, as you can see here, O minus can donate blood to any of these people. Here, downward you can observe all the things have been ticked. Right? Now we'll do the crosses. So these are the all blood groups, all compatible blood groups, my dear children. Right? All compatible blood groups. So here AB plus can receive blood from any of these people. Can any of these donors are matching with AB plus. O minus can give blood to any of these people. Any of these people. For A plus, A minus, B plus and all the other people can receive blood from O minus. So this guy over here is called the universal donor, the O minus group, universal donor. While this guy over here is referred as the universal recipient. He can receive blood from any of the person in the world. If you observe the O minus in here, O minus is the, right, O minus person, if a person has O minus blood group, O minus blood group is very rare. It's very rare to find. Okay, it's very rare to find because O minus blood is, you know, like if a certain person has O minus blood, he can give blood to any person in the world without any trouble. in the other hand, in order to receive blood for an O minus person, he should find definitely an O minus person, a very special person in the world who can donate each and every blood drop for each and every people in the world. But however, when receiving blood, he or she had to find a same person with O minus blood group. Okay, universal donor. However, his receiving ability is very rare. Okay, it's very rare. Receiving ability is very less. However, the donating ability is pretty much high. Okay, so this is the entire table regarding to the compatibility of blood groups, my dear children. Okay, right then. So we'll move on to the next question. So a matching question is given. Machine 1. Transporting substances which dissolved in blood. Very simple. Transporting substances, you know it is the plasma. Plasma. So blood plasma is the one which helps in transporting blood. Number 2. 45% of the blood is, we know that the more than 50% is plasma, which is the liquid. Then 45% is the corpuscles, right? So find out corpuscles. Yes, corpuscles can be identified in here. Corpuscles, right? So as it is getting like this, I'll use a curved line. Corpuscles. Then the next one, carries blood into the heart. Normally blood is getting carried into the heart, right, by the veins. Carries blood into the heart by veins. So veins, in here you can observe veins. Carries blood away from the heart. So away from the heart, it should be arteries. Yes, arteries can be observed here. Next one, transport deoxygenated blood into the heart from body organs. Transport deoxygenated blood into the heart from body organs. From body organs, transporting blood directly towards the heart. That process is going to occur through vena cava. Vena cava. Superior vena cava and from the inferior vena cava. So vena cava, yes, here you can observe it, the vena cava. Vena cava. Located between right atrium and right ventricle. So right atrium, right ventricle. Right atrium, right ventricle means, my dear children, the tricuspid valve. So tricuspid valve. Yes, over there you can observe the tricuspid valve. Next one. Located between left atrium and ventricle. So bicuspid valve. Of course, the bicuspid valve is here. Between left atrium and left ventricle, bicuspid valve. The universal donor, in the earlier question you can observe O negative was the universal donor, while AB positive is the universal recipient. So my dear children, here we go. Universal donor, O negative. Universal recipient, AB positive. AB positive. Then considered as cellular fragments. So platelets are the ones which are considered as cellular fragments. Platelets. Right? Platelets. So my dear children, these are the answers for the matching process. So to make this thing somewhat more convenient and easy to identify, I'll once again mention the correct number within the brackets. Okay. So first one, O negative. O negative is the universal donor. So universal donor, which is number 8. Tricuspid valve. It is the valve which is located between right atrium and right ventricle. So number 6 is the correct one. Bicuspid valve. Here bicuspid valve you can observe located between left atrium and ventricle. Bicuspid valve, which is the number 7. AB positive is the universal recipient, my dear children. AB positive is the universal recipient, which is number 9. Platelets, these are the cellular fragments which contain within the blood. Platelets, cellular fragments, number 10. Plasma is transporting substances dissolved in the blood. Number 1. Corpuscles, 45% of the blood is contained in corpuscles. Red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets are the corpuscles. Then vena cava, they transport deoxygenated blood into the heart from the body organs. Vena cava, number 5. Veins. Veins are the usual valves or the vessels that carries, right, that carries blood into the heart, that carries blood into the heart. Number 3. Then arteries, final one, my dear children. Arteries are the ones which carries blood away from the heart. Arteries. Number 4. So for your convenience, I have mentioned the numbers, Roman numbers in each of the front at the B column. Okay. So these are the answers for the questions, my dear children. Right then. So we have answered several questions related to the lesson, my dear children, right? We answered several MCQ questions. We answered several essay type questions. And now this is the end of our lesson, right? So we discussed several things related to the circulatory system and we finished up with the lesson. Then finally we completed several exercises. So that I hope you got a good knowledge, a sound knowledge about the circulatory system. So my dear children, let's meet you with the fresh new lesson, right? Once again, till then, it's time to say goodbye.